Hi, I'm James Lamont, fellow at the Vidine Center for Rural Economic Development at the University of Minnesota Crookston. Today, we're going to talk about understanding livestock's role in methane emissions as well as carbon. We've explored this previously, but with the recent COP28, it's rather pertinent that you're provided an update, just given some of the changes that we're looking at in terms of policy. As you know, livestock, particularly cows and sheep, are a significant producer of methane, which is a very potent greenhouse gas. In effect, the digestive system of these animals, whether it be through belching or other means, more or less emits quite a bit of methane. For perspective, the scale of the methane emissions are about 28 to 36 times greater than CO2 over the next 100 years. So more or less, it makes livestock emissions particularly concerning given how concentrated it is in terms of its impact and how broad it is, rather, as well on warming the planet. So as a result, there are a number of components that are being explored to help mitigate perhaps some of the emissions from manure, from gases, et cetera, from livestock. And as we continue to look at that, we're also examining potential for growth and development and for fossil fuel. For carbon mitigation as well. So how do you do that? How do you reduce not just methane but also carbon emissions from livestock? Well, looking at feed production, large amounts of carbon are released during the cultivation of feed crops. So you're starting to see down the supply chain as well as upstream major changes in terms of fossil fuel use to perhaps mitigate the feed impact on the atmosphere. Obviously, rules are changing across the world for grazing and deforestation in order to mitigate perhaps the destruction of the globe's carbon sinks. Respiration and life processes, there are millions or billions rather of livestock just like humans. So the idea is how do we look at it from the prism of mitigating carbon production, but at the same time ensuring that people's nutritional needs are met. Energy use in livestock, you can mitigate a good portion of carbon emissions through how energy is produced on site. That could be done through renewables and or other measures. And then other mitigation practices such as how grazing is improved, dietary changes, as well as I mentioned earlier, manure management, not just on the methane side, but also on the carbon footprint side. I'd like to thank you for joining me. That's the update in this space, and we'll see you next time.